WSNPistons.com.
Hey, what up, Dome? We are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and this is your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, and spicy guy today. Hey, shout out to our brother Matt Broder, that dude Justin, Cavassier Chase. In the booths, we got Willie B. What up, Dome, brother? And we got Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. Got KG in the building. Can't wait to get you even more involved in this conversation with these Pistons because they've been crushing, man. They've been crushing overall. I know that we wanted to see this win, especially when it looked like they were well on their way to a dub. But you know what? At the very least, we get the consolation prize of seeing the bad boys go out there and the Pistons go out there and do some bad boys type things.
I see some people comparing it to Malice at the Palace too. Like, let's relax
It's
a little
not
bit.
that extreme.
It wasn't that bad, man. It was just a whole bunch of pushing and shoving.
Light work.
And once the crowd gets involved, it looks worse than what it is.
Light
but
work.
it is,
It's I don't even know. It's like once the crowd and the Pistons name is attached to it, then it gets a little bit worse
Of course.
than it is. And you know what? For a league that some people they wonder about the ratings, I saw that light up everywhere last night. The Pistons are, in my opinion, must-see TV. If you're not from here, listen, the Pistons are a top 5 league pass team. They just are. You got one of the best players in the league. You got one who can challenge for being the face of the league, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what you saw them do even against the Cavs, it shows more or less the character of this team. They are winning without a guy who Mark J. Spears calls a top 5 MVP candidate.
Ooh.
We're gonna talk about that. But this 133-122 win to me over the Cavs, it was just as much a character win as the character consolation prize with the Fighting. And this is one where you called it, man. They had their entire roster, bro.
Cleveland did, yeah.
Cleveland did.
Everybody.
Cleveland did. And what I really liked about it was I've heard J.B. Bickerstaff talk about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley over there with the Cavs. I like the way that Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren stood on business in that game.
Yeah. They were both fantastic. And the funny thing is obviously we all watched the game. We were thrilled with what we saw. But when you just look at the box score afterwards, the amount of production that you saw is just insane. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. had his best game as a Piston. 10 of 18 from the floor, 7-11 from 3, 32 points. Asar, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks. Absolutely stuffing the stat sheet. Duren, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder, 10 assists, which, talk about filling the stat sheet. Dennis Schroeder has been exactly what this Pistons team has needed ever since he has gotten here, and he's a big reason why the Pistons are 3-1 in the games that Cade has recently missed. You saw Malik Beasley, just a ho-hum, 19 points, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Speaking of Isaiah Stewart and Ron Holland combined 9 of 11 from the floor and 24 points. This team was missing Cade and Tobias Harris, and they deprived the Cavaliers of getting their 60th win at LCA. They ended up getting it at home, I believe, against the Clippers on yesterday.
And not tonight.
Right. That's kind of symbolic, though. The Cavs are going for their 60th win, and the Pistons, without Cade Cunningham and Tobias and, of course, Jaden Ivey, were like, no.
Hey, do you think they were trying? Donovan Mitchell,
Yes.
38 points.
John Mitchell played great.
Hooping, bro.
Yeah, he was.
He was hooping, and that's the JB Smooth. You got that graphic from with Bill Simmons, his comments on there, and then we'll also talk about what the Pistons have done in history here. And this one to me, man, it says it all as it relates to the Detroit Pistons. Beef Stew and Ron Holland being involved in a semi-brawl in Minnesota was the lock of the year. The bad boys are back.
And that's Bill Simmons. And Bill Simmons has been on record saying that he hated those bad boys teams back in the late 80s because he's, of course, is a Celtics fan, and he is one of, like him or not, he's one of the most prominent voices in just the NBA media. And him saying that, I think, is a big deal. It's different coming from Bill Simmons than it would be coming from you or I. And I'm not saying we're not important. It's just we are analysts, but we are also fans as well.
Right.
But yeah,
Rod Beard says it too.
Yeah.
These are the people that sway decisions, and now we're starting, as it relates to postseason awards, as it relates to even the narratives that are talked about. Why are largely, when I look at the comments underneath NBA posts and things like that, why are people like, wait, the Pistons are still doing this? It was cute in the beginning of the season when y'all said postseason Pistons and they're in 10th. Why are they literally challenging for the 4th seed? And you're starting to see people wake up to the fact that this is a real team, and you're starting to see these guys as they're talking about it more and more people now are experts on it. Everybody calls it now. And it's, you know what? We let it go because we want our team talked about, especially when they deserve to be talked about in a positive light, in the ways that we have generally known our Detroit Pistons teams to play. And just a little bit of history here. Throw it over to KG. You got that other graphic. The Pistons, man, they become the first team to triple their win total, man, in a season.
Absolutely. That is wild. That it's the first team ever. But then again, that's why, and I get it, it's also a testament to how bad that they were last year, but this should never be taken for granted. Tripling their win total. Tripling. And that being said, if JB Bickerstaff isn't coach of the year, we riot. The problem is our odds say that he won't be coach of the year. And, of course, you saw that stat with the net rating that the Pistons have had.
Number 2 since the trade deadline.
That's since the trade deadline. That's unbelievable. And, hey, Dennis Schroeder, he deserves a lot of flowers for that. He's not the only one, but he's been exactly what they need.
Yep. Hey, there we go. Detroit Pistons. And this is the crazy thing. They've done this through 74 games of the season. This thing isn't going to be done. In terms of how much better this team is going to be historically, because JB Bickerstaff has come in right away and put this team on the right tracks. It was interesting, those comments, and that might be a constant refrain, especially as we go into the playoffs, of finally able to ask him that question and him responding, "Oh, the talent was already here." And then we just add a little bit of veterans that want to be here, and then boom, just make sure these guys make sure that he's doing his job, because that's ultimately what he said. It's on coaching.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this is why I've been saying, like, clearly this wasn't a 14-win team last year. Unfortunately, you just didn't have the right people at the top, and then you already know if it's not right at the top, then everything else crumbles. It just is what it is. But when you just look at JB Bickerstaff, he has now done this with 2 NBA franchises. He has taken 2 NBA franchises from the absolute gutter and turned them into one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And it's just the way they play, like kind of going back to Bill Simmons' comments. The reason why, people are starting to view them as like a second version or third version of the Bad Boys is because the wins are starting to come with it. Like if they were just crashing out and still getting blown out by 30, it wouldn't really mean shit. We wouldn't really take to it like we have been. It's the fact that this team is real. It's tangible. You can reach out and touch it. Like this is the real thing. This is the genuine article. These guys, they're young, they're hungry, they have developed, and they've taken that step up. And they have a superstar in Cade Cunningham, and they have a great supporting cast. And if you can't tell that the supporting cast is great, look at what they've done without Tobias, without Cade in the lineup. You beat the best team in the East that you've had problems with all year long. So, of course, in a game without Cade, I'm not thinking that y'all going to go out there and do what y'all did. I mean, Asar Thompson, double-double. That was crazy, man. Malik Beasley just continues to be a light for this team, man. He went out there, had a crazy shooting night. You already know my boy Duren, man, 16 and 13. Bro, like this, they just find. Hey, I'm just saying, but this team just continues to find ways to win, and it's not just they're the Pistons, they're getting lucky. Teams don't see them coming. Like, no, this is a well-oiled machine. We are the scariest team in the NBA right now. No team wants to face us in the playoffs, flat out.
I'm telling you, bro. That's what impresses me about that game, is that you're right. It's not like the Cavs sat back like, oh, it's the Pistons. No, they knew this was about to be a battle, and they had all their dogs, like you were talking about.
Cleveland had all their dogs, and Donovan Mitchell certainly played like the dog that he is and is proven to be. But another fan that I have to go at, and I'm going to do it a little bit, somebody that I have to go at, and I'm going to do it a little bit nicer than I usually do. But then again, I just have to ask the question. This is from Skydog722. He actually addressed that at you, at Woodward Pistons. Kool-Aid, easy to improve by that much when they threw away the 2023-24 season. And I'm going to ask you, Skydog, answer this truthfully. Are you a Pistons fan? Are you a Pistons fan? We talked about Skydog, this is the first time that this has happened in the history of the NBA. I get it. Last season was awful. There was nowhere to go but up. Before the season, though, what was your win total, Skydog? What was it? What was it? Out yourself.
Oh, because
what was your win total, Skydog?
Because just to back that up, hey, maybe it's easy to improve that much in your world. You know what? They're the first team to do this in NBA history. And guess what? The Pistons have been this bad before. And they didn't have this type of turnaround before. JB Bickerstaff has done this twice now. So something has to be in the pudding, right? But when you look at the expected wins on the season, who has the biggest leap, the biggest margin between how many wins they actually have and the expected wins? That's still JB Bickerstaff, and nobody's even remotely close. He's still, it's like right now at this point, 16 and a half wins above, or 16 and a half wins above what most of the odds said that he was going to do with this team this season. And I didn't see anybody, even some of the most ardent. The most bullish in this room was KG, and you said at the beginning of the season 35. Mm-hmm. I said, I want to stand up here and say 40, but I said this last year, and I'm going to wait until the 2030 game mark, so at least 30, and they got to get into the postseason. Everybody else set floors that were just a little bit above that in this room, but you capped out at the 35, and we've seen this team go out there and blow beyond it. And when we said that, you guys remember what most of the chat family was saying, most of the reactions out there. Man, look, we've been tracking this thing for a good 3.5 years on Woodward Pistons and on Woodward Sports. So it's intriguing now to see when you do get responses like that. It's just like, listen, JB Bickerstaff has come here and he's only done good.
Absolutely.
And who's supposed to get it? The person who's taken over the team that JB Bickerstaff turned from nothing into something now? That's what I'm saying. Like, he's done this. This isn't like a situation where even with Dwayne Casey, and I like Dwayne Casey a lot. He won Coach of the Year with the Raptors. He didn't do that here. Mm-hmm. There was regression. With JB Bickerstaff, he built up one squad from Monty Williams. They said that he built up Phoenix, right? And he turned them around. He took them to the playoffs after 6 years of no playoffs for Devin Booker. But with JB Bickerstaff, we didn't see any regression. We saw him just come here and just hit the ground running. I can't take anything away from him because of how bad the team was prior. Like, bravo on the organization for getting the right guy in here, because when you look at it, sometimes I wonder who would have done a better job than him.
Nobody in the entire NBA, given what this team, that they were young, that they have a bunch of as the bat's about to fall. That's all right. They were young.
Bat is fired up.
They have a bunch of players who play with a lot of energy and obviously are naturally good defenders and have the instinct and the athleticism. And JB Bickerstaff needed to tap into that. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, with better talent around him, was always going to take an even bigger leap than we'd ever seen him have. And yeah, there's nothing really you can say negative about this team, and that's my problem with people like Skydub, because he said that his win total was 30. Okay, then they've blown past your win total by 12. Don't act like them winning 42 is actually more proof that you were right. That's bitch assness. It just is. Stop complaining and just enjoy the ride. I have what I believe are the reasons why you aren't enjoying the ride, but I don't understand it. If you want to lean a little bit more negative to the Red Wings, I get it, because they're going to miss the playoffs. They're not going to have as many points as they did last year. If you want to lean a little bit negative towards the Tigers, I understand that to some extent, because they just got swept and their offseason was underwhelming to most. But the Pistons? You expected 30 and they give you 42 and you're still whining? Like, come on. Like,
that's
and
crazy.
Still acting like you were right? What the hell are you talking about?
And not just that. You just look at the health of the organizations. I'm so glad that we track these things, man. Like, Ryan and I look for certain things, and we've continued to track these types of things. They're all dysfunction teams. And you look at this longevity aspect, the Pistons are in a really healthy spot. Mm-hmm. None of their players are feeling like they're looking over their shoulder. I promise you, Trae Young is hearing whispers everywhere he goes. Every trade deadline, is he going to be traded this offseason? You look at some of these other squads, you look how Minnesota just fell apart. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Tyler Herro, hey, shout out to you for being an all-star. Clearly not the same type of all-star as Cade Cunningham. And, so many things are turning up 7-7-7 for the Pistons right now that for fans, I'm like, isn't this what we've all wanted?
Yeah.
How is there any fan that's not on board with just supporting? Now you're playing with house money. Isn't this the time now we can say, wait, they've already blown past the postseason expectation. They're to the point where they're resetting expectations for all fans. This is the time to just enjoy what happens from here. If they go out there and they don't compete from this point, like the Red Wings, like you want to see them compete, then obviously you say, you know what, something is amiss here. And I get if you want to be able to criticize that, but where they are right now, this is the time when I'm like, Pistons fans should be, you get the license now to be rabid, insane fans. These players are going out there and literally bringing that bad boys to the hardwood for you. They're literally winning. They're literally going out there and people are saying, man, yo, the Pistons will be a good first-round matchup on TV against the Pacers or the Knicks. This is what I'm hearing from national people now. They want to see the Pistons. Whatever, Shaq.
I don't know what happened with Shaq right there.
Shaq
but
always hating.
He's still salty about 04.
Yeah, it's got to be that. And I hate to keep pointing to that, but what else could it really be? But nah, man, this is more than just about this year, bro. This is the best Pistons team that we have had since 2009. Do we really understand like the level of what the hell we're seeing right now? This is why last week I said, and I know you're trying to think. I see you with your thinking face, Kool-Aid, but be real, bro. This is the first Pistons team where you kind of like lean into the expectations for this team a little bit more. You're confident in saying they can win a playoff series. Like we knew with those teams during the 2010s, we knew it wasn't tangible. We knew we was getting bounced in the first round, bro. Like there was no fucking hope at all. Like this is why I said last week, anybody that's not paying attention to the Pistons now, you just a casual, and that's okay. But this is like genuinely, if you enjoyed the 2022 Lions, you should enjoy this Pistons team even more because they are doing something even greater than what they did when they went on that 8-2 run to end the year and almost got into the playoffs. The Pistons are firmly in the playoffs. And they have a chance to really go out there and make some noise. Once again, no team wants to face you right now. You are viewed as the most dangerous team in the NBA. And if you come in that first series, you know, trying to play us like, oh, it's just the Pistons, they gonna fall apart. You will pay for that.
Absolutely. And for the record, I think that it's the vocal minority. I think that most people are on board and enjoying the heck out of this run. I know we all are in this room. I know most people in the chat are as well. The
arena's been lit.
Absolutely. It's been an absolutely remarkable turnaround. And didn't a certain NBA national media voter for MVP say that?
Let's go there. Mark J. Spears, man, shout out to him. He's been
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. And he's been one of the quickest on a national scale in the NBA world as well to give the Pistons their flowers early. I know JB's gonna get that up on the screen, but I'll definitely read it here as well because as soon as I saw these statements, I was just like, wow. I don't know if people quite know the magnitude of what of who Mark J. Spears is, but he says Pistons are an incredible story with little fanfare. Cade deserves to be a top 5 MVP candidate. Trajan Langdon has done an incredible executive job in year 1, and JB Bickerstaff coaching this team to 3 times as many wins is an incredible Coach of the Year worthy feat. So we kind of know where maybe his votes might lean, but you're exactly right here, man. When you see this type of talk about one Cade Cunningham, who you guys have heard Flannel talk about it, you have seen our rankings as it relates to the MVP. We've consistently stated, hey, Cade is pulling a lot of weight here, and the Pistons are winning amongst some of the teams where you got him ranked amongst some of these guys in this conversation. He deserves to be top 5. Now you're starting to see the national narrative be all NBA second team. And KG was one of those guys saying, I think he got it in him. You know, and so it's nice to start to see these things come to fruition and that the winning is authorizing these players to have a little bit more. And that's what we see here. And just a couple more stats there. If you see the other one there, it's another one, JB, from Basketball Index.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you could throw that one up, because I just want to show people when they talk about top 5 MVP candidates, you sit here and you look at who Cade Cunningham is, and he continues to show up in the tops of all of these types of stats. Man, only 9 players are 90th percentile or better. Check this out, Flannel Sam. In finishing talent, mid-range talent, 3-point shooting talent, and playmaking talent. Those players from 9 to 1, Tyler Herro, Anthony Simons, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic, because I just wanted you to hear some of those names first before we say Cade Cunningham, SGA, and LeBron James.
And I mean, and Look at this list right here.
crazy.
And this is why one of the many reasons why Cade Cunningham should be top 5, and I've still got him at 3 on my personal ballot. There's only 2 guys on this list that I think have a no doubt case above him, and we mentioned it before. It's SGA and Jokic, but Tyler Hero, obviously not. Anthony Simons, they're not even going to make the play-in. Luka missed too many games, and of course he plays with LeBron. Victor missed too many games. Tatum, I've always said that in order for a guy like Jason Tatum to get it, I needed the best season of his life plus a Celtics 65-win team, and that's not going to happen. With all due respect to Tatum, he's great, but I don't think he should get it over Cade. And then LeBron, I think LeBron should get some MVP votes, but I wouldn't put him above Cade at this point.
Not at all.
No. But the fact that LeBron's number 1 on that list is pretty wild too, and I'm happy about that.
I gotta tip the cap continuously, and from one old man to another old man, it's like, LeBron, we could break bread, bro. We can kumbaya. But you're right. These are the names that we've heard Cade Cunningham amongst all season, whether it's knowing that he and Nikola Jokic are the only ones to be at 25-5, or what is it, 25, I believe, 6-6 all over the course of the season to this point. We know that he, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and SGA are the only ones that show up in several other stats that go across the stat sheet. And when you see these types of things, 90th percentile across multiple things as it relates to the offensive side of the ball, it makes a lot of sense. And there was a point in time when I thought mid-range wise and the playmaking talent that he looked a little bit like Devin Booker, but when you see the players that he's amongst, he just looks like these players. And we've talked about all season with Cade Cunningham. He's going to make conversations very, very uncomfortable. But as you get a full season, plus the winning, plus heading into the playoffs to see exactly what he is, those conversations are no longer uncomfortable. They're just right about Cade Cunningham. He is one of your top players in the league. And let me ask you something. When you look at that list right there, out of the guys you would call the next up, right? He's still on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of the ones would be the face of the league? He's the only one still up there that is realistically on a rookie contract still. I mean, I know you got Victor Wembanyama. That would probably, in my opinion, be the only other player when you're talking about rookie scale contracts and being the face of the league that would even challenge, obviously. And when you look at even the other players on here beyond that, on their mega deals, Cade is still one of those guys. And I'm like, you know what? I think he's pretty marketable.
He's probably number 1 due to some. You know how I feel. I don't think an American has to be the face of the league, especially
overall. He's that dude.
And that's 100% fair. I don't think that with the game getting so more global, with so many superstars in the NBA being foreign players, I don't think that it needs to be a American necessarily. I mean, SGA, Jokic, Wemby, Luka, none of them are American, and I wouldn't have a problem with any of them necessarily being potentially the face of the league, although I think it's too early to tell with Wemby. But given the criteria and given the fact that Cade Cunningham is one of the up-and-coming future superstars in the game that is going to get a lot of MVP votes, Cade's got as good a chance of anybody as being the face of the league, especially if the Pistons end up winning, if they can parlay what they do this year, which is I'm predicting potentially a round in the playoffs and giving a second-round team all that they can handle. If they can start to win bigger, it could be Cade's league for sure.
Man,
yeah, no, absolutely. And the league is moving into a period where you kind of need multiple faces of the league. Of course, Victor Wembanyama, I see him as the dominant face. But you're moving into an era where you're going to need multiple faces. And if they want that American, to push as the face of the league, I mean, Cade Cunningham has got as good a shot as anybody.
Texan.
Yeah, man, for real. But look at that list. It's only him and Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum, he's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not going to come in here and shit on the man. He's accomplished a lot in this league. But in terms of just, like you said, talent on a rookie contract, the new fresh faces of the league, Cade is right there. And the only other person that you can put in his stratosphere is an Anthony Edwards. But he's already told you, I don't want to be the face. So if that's the case, then I think Cade has absolutely a good shot at it, especially with his level of play.
Cade sat in a press conference room where these guys were all sitting.
Yeah.
These scrums down at All-Star, and they asked him, hey, who's the face of the league? He's looking around, he can I say me?
Yeah.
He respects these guys out there. But he's going to say exactly what you see these top players say. You hear some of them say, oh, this player is pretty good. Anthony Edwards, he says, me. Jason Tatum says, I'm the face of the league. Cade Cunningham, I'm the face of the league. And he takes each one of these matchups against these other players, as he does all the other teams, that much more personal. And you see him go out there, and this year, I thought he was really, really on a star level, just showing up big in those types of matchups.
Absolutely. And I know I've belabored this point a lot when it comes to Cade MVP. It does sound, in some ways it could sound to some people as a little bit of an overreaction, but I always point to the fact that when you talk about Giannis, the Bucks are below the Pistons in the standings right now, and I think they will stay that way. Ant Edwards has led the Timberwolves to the play-in. Not his fault, but they're a play-in team. They're not going to give serious MVP votes, in my opinion, to a play-in team. Those are a couple of the people that I think are pretty nice comparisons with Cade Cunningham in the MVP race. And I just gave you examples of where he has clear advantages. The Pistons are going to be in the playoffs. Ant Edwards in the play-in. The Pistons are going to finish above the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis in the standings. Think about that.
Crazy.
And I get it. Dame Lillard's had injuries. Still hurt.
They still got talent, and they still got
They
Giannis.
do. They do.
And that's a championship team.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's not an overreaction. Cade Cunningham, to me, should still be third. Even though the Pistons did go 3-1 in a stretch without him, I think he should still be third in the MVP race. And if you want to give an argument for who could be third over him, I will listen to Jason Tatum, but I will disagree. And I won't listen to Donovan Mitchell because his numbers just aren't good enough. They're just not good enough. Look at the MVP winners. The last person to really win the MVP without putting up monster numbers was probably 2015 Steph. But that was different. He was kind of a revolutionary type player, if that makes sense.
And you know what?
It makes perfect sense.
The guys that are up to win the MVP, you look at all of the advanced metrics, and who's the guy that's like third right behind him and like all these stats? Oh, it's that guy that's third right here on this one as well with the B-ball index. And that's the thing. So they're winning. He's showing up to have the same type of impact and effect that these guys have with far less talent on this team. That's my thing. It's like you look at the talent. You look at what a lot of people were starting to say, you know what, leave this team effectively for dead. They got a bunch of mismanaged young talent that's not really going to scratch the surface. And now you see a squad where everyone's like, oh, wow, look at this young core. And all they needed was just a coach and a little bit of, vet talent. And honestly, a big part of this is the maturation of Cade Cunningham taking that all-star leap. And this team saying we don't care realistically what the outside world tells us. J.B. Bickerstaff has been telling these guys, and Isaiah Stewart talked about it in a question. I'm going to try and bring that clip back up, too, that I was able to ask him. He said, you know what? J.B. Bickerstaff told us, and Jalen Duren talked about this, too, in a later press conference. He said, J.B. Bickerstaff told us that we could be stars in our own lanes. So that maybe the national media out there might not write about it, but he told us if we commit to these things, we will have success as a team. We will find ourselves effectively loved by the people here because they will see that work. And every good team, we talk about what's the identity of every good Detroit Pistons team. We talk about the defense and the hustle and the this and the that. But there's one other thing. They don't give a frick about what anybody outside of Detroit cares about them. They just cared about if they were representing what the Detroiters and the Michiganders here represented. And that's what this team is now. J.B. Bickerstaff is unabashed. He doesn't care. He's like, we're going to go out there and we're going to fight the way we know Detroiters like to get down. We have to represent this everywhere we go. And if that might make other people angry, it might make other people angry. And that, to me, is where you start to realize they got the talent, they got the coaching, but they also have so much more reason that they're playing for than just to win the game. And that, to me, is what we're seeing pushing them to well beyond. How many times have we reset our expectations? So many times. And that's a fun thing to do, and it's absolutely okay. Speaking of teams that reset their expectations as the season went along, and I think both teams did this, by the way. Yeah. This was not a happy weekend for the state of Michigan in terms of college teams in the NCAA tournament, and we all are shaking our fists at that damned Auburn. That damned Auburn. But we're going to talk about that because I think it's both of the Michigan and Michigan State, their seasons are over, and we're going to start with State because they went one round further. They went to the Elite Eight, and they lost last night. We're going to get JB Smooth's opinion on the team, the season, and not going to lie,
I'm kind of in my bag on this topic, so you're not going to want to miss this. But a little bit of a humble brag. Tell us about merch.
No, you've been in your bag all morning.
Yeah, you really have, Flannel. Before I tell you about merch, thank you for everyone sending in super chats. We got $10 from Burn. He sent this in. He said,
Shout out.
Do people realize that the Pistons haven't won one playoff game since George Bush's last year in office?
Thank you. Thank you.
The Belgium Olympics hadn't even happened yet. Iron Man 1 and GTA 4 just released.
Damn, G.
Who is that? Burn?
Yeah, it's Burn.
Can you clip that one? We might have to make a social graphic. We're gonna feature Burn today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Told
you,
you,
Burn,
best
man,
teams
for-
is on 9. You was racking your brain. I'm like, no, Kool-Aid.
No. I was
it.
thinking it might be since 2008. I think this squad would pop 2019.
Ooh.
I do. Who's they gonna pop from Cade? Never mind.
Yeah.